This episode is brought to you by Brewy, a coffee that nourishes your mind and body. Brewy is an organic coffee blend loaded with 6 adaptogenic mushrooms, so you can enjoy the benefits of superfoods while being fueled in your day-to-day life. To receive your Brewy discount code, tag a friend in this episode's coming soon post. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the UR Pod Usage Rate. This week, we are going to be previewing the roster of the Adelaide 36ers. So they've had a bit of fair bit of turnover.
They have, far out. Just looking at it here, it's a brand new team, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. So we've only got Sunday Detch, Corin Galloway, Nick Marshall, Mitch McCarron, and Fraser Roxburgh at DP that are remaining from last year's team.
Other than Mitch McCarron, no one really jumps off the page to you, do they?
No. Sunday Detch.
Yep,
Thoughts?
good role player. Good role player.
Yep. He'll, I think he'll be pretty solid again.
Yeah, I do too, yeah. Agreed.
We've got some big outs.
Yes.
In the import slots, Robert Franks, Antonius Cleveland.
Oh, I mean, you can also consider Craig Randall as an out,
Yes.
although he did
Didn't last long, did he?
No, he didn't.
What did he play? Oh, and then they had Ian Clark come in, of course.
Yes, Ian Clark. Yeah, he is still on the roster, isn't he?
He's gone to Melbourne.
Melbourne, yes.
Melbourne
Jeez,
United.
They're going to be good.
Yes, we'll get to Melbourne in a couple of weeks. So, what did Adelaide do well last year? They didn't have a great year. They finished 8th.
Well, they beat the Phoenix Suns.
They did beat the Phoenix Suns.
They
Still were below 500 in the NBL.
They had won the NBL championship before the season started,
Yeah.
hadn't they?
And there was some serious words between them and the Sydney Kings.
And they honestly, like, you would have thought they had won the championship after they won that game against Phoenix.
Yeah, there's a
and
lot
Craig
of
Randall obviously was exciting, but obviously not the best teammate, and probably caused a few issues. Didn't sound like he wanted to play within the Adelaide program, so had to let him go, which is fair enough.
Yeah, well, I guess they invested a lot of money in their imports. It was pretty public that they spent a lot of money last year on their big three of Cleveland, Franks and Randall.
You'd be disappointed, and I mean their coach, obviously, CJ Bruton, is he got a bit of stick too, didn't he, from not being the most X and O type of coach. So
well, I think rightfully so.
So do I.
I don't know if he's that good a coach.
Well, I mean, it's hard when you have these NBL legends, I suppose, and Australian basketball legends. Obviously, Bruton was one of the original guys that did pretty well at the Olympics. Obviously, not Australian by birth, but we accepted him, and it's hard. Absolutely. It's hard to kind of when they do go to the coaching scene to really try and knock them as much as they should. But yes, he deserved the stick that he got for sure.
Yeah. It is interesting with those past players. Andrew Gay's another one.
Well, yeah, I mean, Andrew Gaze was NBL 1 level coach last year, and
turn it up.
Yeah, turn it up. We would have watched him at the Thunder and gave him a turn it up every 4 or 5 minutes. So, but yeah, no, he again struggled at the level. Sydney Kings didn't do that great, did he?
No, and they've really only turned it around in the last couple of years. I think very heavily with the involvement of Bogut and Longley.
Yes.
Has had a big impact on Sydney. But they're a few weeks away, so we might we'll park them. Who do you think would be the biggest loss? So they've obviously got their imports that they've lost. I think they've got the locals, Daniel Johnson, Anthony Drimich, and Kai Sotto.
Oh, man. I mean,
depends who you ask, I guess.
Anthony Drimich and Daniel Johnson, especially Drimich, I think, even though he's not very well liked, and he's got a bit of personality, I guess you could say arrogance. I don't know what else you call it, but he is a very, very handy player to have on your roster.
Yeah,
competes,
shot the ball well from inside. Didn't shoot the ball great from 3 last year, 32%. But I
still think you can get away with that
system.
I think he can get away with not being an overly good shooter at NBL level. 32% is, I mean, it's below average, but I'd still call it serviceable.
Oh, definitely.
I wouldn't imagine that's on. I wouldn't imagine that's on huge numbers either. But I think he's just a competitor. He's a
34 for 107.
34 for 107. Big-ish numbers. Yeah.
25 games, so he's putting up 4 a game.
I mean, the only thing you really lose from Kai Soto is the Filipinos in the comment section.
Jeez, the man has a fan base.
He does have a fan base, but they're a bit delusional at times.
Yes.
They think he should have been picked before Victor Wembanyama, mate. Like he's
well,
for a guy that barely comes off the bench, it's I mean, you only have to look at Adelaide's comment section filled with where's Kai? It's just like Kai's on the bench for a reason.
Yes.
Like he's
and
slow, can't shoot.
And the minutes he did play just was not productive.
No, correct.
At all.
No, that's 100%. I mean, it was good. It was good to see something. It brought a lot to the league originally. Like it brought a new fan base and some more people watching, but it just didn't work out for him.
It'd be interesting to see the TV numbers if they drop it all with him out of the league, because Filipinos are mad about it.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like there would be you'd say hundreds of thousands of people tuning in to hopefully see him get on the court. But I don't know if it's because they don't know much about an international basketball or if it's just I'm not sure. It's just obviously they think that he's better than what he is, and just
not knowing a heap about Filipino basketball, but I wonder where he would rank in terms of what they've produced in history.
You've got to be close enough. Well, it depends.
So maybe that's why they...
Jordan Clarkson is now
obviously
playing for the Philippines, so you've got to think that he would take the number 1 spot.
Now, on the topic of international basketball.
Yes.
Boomers.
Unfortunately, didn't get to watch the game live, so...
Neither.
But I have watched the highlights and obviously checked the box score. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, Josh Giddey looked a level above.
He did.
Which you probably would expect against Venezuela.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the 32 teams in the World Cup off by heart, but Venezuela are playing in the World Cup.
You would assume so. There's a warm-up World Cup.
Yeah, I didn't know if they were just like, maybe if it was a friendly and they've been brought over, because we have played them at the Olympics and whatnot before, but I'd assume they are. It was good to watch. It was obviously... We said last week that Riath might be on the cusp of being cut, and 27 points last night puts him in good stead to maybe keep him on the roster, I reckon.
I think so as well.
I think Xavier Cooks could be in trouble.
Xavier Cooks.
I
think it's down to Cooks and Golding.
I mean, and if maybe Jack White, but I think Jack White stays.
Yeah, he was pretty good last night.
And Xavier Cooks, I just don't think out of the big man probably has the worst offensive game of the.
Yeah, offensively is horrific. I was, from the highlights, I was pleasantly surprised by the range on Routh.
Yeah, I was too.
Up a lot.
And that's what I said last week. I wasn't aware that he actually had that nice shot.
Neither.
He even hit some nearly foul line extended floaters. He was versatile,
which is huge.
It looked really
basketball.
It really looked like that game plan for the Boomers, just from what I've watched, was to switch 1 through to 5. They really look like they're gonna just play up and down quick basketball, which is going to be fun with Giddey and obviously Exum as well runs the floor in that second guard spot.
I did read that he struggled last night.
Yeah, I think I again only looking at the stats, but you looked at his Olympics last year. What was it last year? A couple of years ago. I thought he really showed a lot. Yeah, getting to the basket, just attack.
I think his game style suits FIBA.
Yes, absolutely. He obviously had a good European season and he's back in the league, so must be going okay.
Yes. Josh Green didn't play. Jock Lando didn't play.
No.
Dawson Daniels.
Very limited minutes by the looks of it. I still think he's a couple of years away. I think
is he where Josh Giddey was
before the Olympics? I think so. I mean, I again obviously didn't have a huge sample size of him in the NBA last year, so obviously his defense looks good.
Yes.
His offensive game may still have a little bit to go, but
good fly.
I think they take him. I think they take him for the experience because the Olympics is only next year. So
yeah,
you think to yourself, he will probably be part of that program with another year of NBA.
You would think so, yeah.
So I think they take him.
Yep, like it. Daniel Johnson retired.
Is he still going to play his 3-on-3?
Well, he does love the 3-on-3, doesn't he?
Does, yeah.
I don't know, but I think he's a little bit past it now.
Yeah,
before last season, I'd never seen him miss 2 free throws in a row.
And last season, I saw cheeseburgers.
Yes.
Hungry Jacks.
Last season, saw it multiple times, so I think that's a telltale sign when you're shooting big and you're losing your touch from the foul line.
Oh yeah, he's definitely a lot slower than he once was. He used to have a sneaky athleticism too, and it's all gone downhill, hasn't it? Unfortunately,
he's just a genuine popper nowadays, isn't he? What do you think they did a bad job of last year, the Sixers?
Must be the culture.
Yeah, I think so.
It must be. They mustn't be a good friend. They must have not really. They must have just gone after players. And not thought how are these players going to work together, because it was messy.
It was really messy. Yeah. For me, I think they brought in Robert Franks as the leader locker room guy.
Yep.
But from watching that NBL doco last year, he seems very quiet, soft-spoken. They obviously had their issues with Randall at the start of the year, and Franks, from my view, wasn't prepared to stand up and take charge of that. I don't think losing him is probably as big as what a lot of people probably suggest.
I rated Cleveland highly.
Yes, Antonius Cleveland. Unbelievable second half of the year.
Yeah, I rated him
Goodness
highly.
Yeah.
And defensively as well, probably one up there with the best in the league.
Yeah, defensive player of the year. 2-time? Did he win it back to back?
I think he did, yeah. I don't want to quote that, but he is definitely the higher in the defensive.
Effort, So he's gone out to Israel. Frank's into Japan. So
their roster's definitely lacking this year.
Yes,
I was excited by the prospect of their next starter they signed today.
Yeah, the Flower Man.
Yeah. Obviously, must be a very, very good talent if you're ranked that high up the draft boards.
Yeah, what's he looking at?
Well, I've seen 18th.
18, yeah.
That's nearly.
And that's where they've had a few next stars in that sort of range, haven't they?
Yeah.
Not that sort of 6'8" guy, but from what I've seen, his ball handling.
He's athletic.
Yeah, I think he's probably better than those guys that have come out of the next.
Read that he's going to start as the point guard, as a 6'8"
point guard. Yeah.
I think that's just the mould now, isn't it? Bigger point guards.
Yeah, for sure. So if we have a look at that leadership sort of stuff, he probably can't take those reins. What is he, 18?
No. I mean, they've still got Mitch McCarron on the roster, haven't they? Yeah. I think he's a guy now that can play that type of role.
I'm not huge on McCarron.
I
probably missed him on most overrated last week.
I think he's a very good facilitator.
Shot 18% from the 3-point line last year.
Oh yeah, he lets it fly. But I think he's facilitating and his leadership. I don't mind it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not huge on McCarron, and
it begs the question: if they've gone and signed an next guard, what's the point of signing McGee and McCarron together?
Yeah, not sure. I think they're going to be messy again.
Yes,
I don't think their roster's balanced at all. I think last year they lacked offensively. They had no cohesion, and this year the imports that they've brought in, Jamal Franklin from the Philippines averaged 31 in the Philippines.
Can't imagine that's the highest standard of the league.
No, but 7.2 assists, 11.4 rebounds a game.
What do you take from that though?
Numbers.
Yeah, what do you take from that though? If the stand, I mean, how do you compare the standard of that to the NBL? Do you think?
Well, I can't remember any successful guys coming
going
from
to be averaging
the Philippines.
I wouldn't have thought.
Nah. What do you think he can average? He's obviously a scoring.
Looks like he does a bit of everything.
Do it all guard, but again, another guard on the roster.
Yeah.
So, where's the ball going to be? And then they've brought in Trey Kell. Was pretty good for Southeast last year. Struggled a little bit with his body from time to time.
Probably a little bit inefficient.
Yeah. I don't know if they're bringing him in as a defensive guy, but I would think that you want your your defensive wings to be able to be pretty solid from deep as well. And then Jacob Wiley, who played in the NBL a few years ago.
He was actually pretty good when he was over, I thought.
Do you?
Yeah, 2018. I remember his season. I think that's 6'8", big body, big frame. Probably does help that roster out in that 3-4 position.
So I wonder if he's your leadership sort of guy. Like I don't really remember watching a lot of him play, but averaged 4.2 rebounds a game in 22 minutes.
Yeah, and then you've got, I think he averaged about 13, 14 points. Pretty efficient.
15.
Pretty efficient too. So
Didn't shoot a lot of 3 balls. Shot 68% from the field.
Yeah.
So that's good.
I think he's post up, back to the basket type of operator. But
so with that, do you need guys that can shoot around him?
I think their roster is lacking 3-point scoring.
Yep.
I mean,
for sure.
And that Alex Starling, he was from the NBL 1. He's nationalised.
Played a lot of years in the NBL 1. Yeah. So good on him for getting that through. It's, isn't it weird? Some guys seem to get it like that.
Yep.
Like Big Mason Cox.
Yeah.
But
he had to do his dues.
Yeah, Bryce Cotton can't get his.
No.
So it's an interesting process. Maybe they couldn't get the words right to the national anthem or something. Nick Marshall been pretty good in the NBL 1 this year.
Yeah, he's consistently good in NBL 1.
Yeah.
Hopefully maybe they see a bit out of him that can be that wing scorer.
Yeah, he for me, given the roster that they've got, he could be a shake for most improved, I reckon.
It's a good call.
I think he's going to see a lot of minutes.
So this will be his first year on an actual contract.
Yeah, he only played 12 minutes a night last year.
Good call, Hughes.
Can get hot.
Can get very hot.
Looking at their Kyron Galloway at the forward spot.
Those Galloway boys are
Starling
improving.
and Wiley. They don't have a lot in the forwards.
No, they don't.
Another one that they've brought over this year, Isaac Humphries.
Doesn't give you much offensively, does he?
No. Good for...
he's a good defender. Good rim protection.
Good for hoop grid.
Yeah, on the Hawks, I have used him before.
Yeah,
very
low percentage.
Yeah, he was, definitely.
I forget he made NBA roster, but
I think he played like 4 games. But as an Australian, you tend to remember that pretty comfortably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think he really probably offers a lot. Played his best basketball at Adelaide.
Yeah, he wasn't
great with Melbourne last year.
No, I mean...
But I was surprised how many games he played. He still played 23 out of the 28 games.
Yeah, he's never really come along offensively, has he?
No.
Can't shoot.
I know his back's no good.
Yeah.
But hopefully can be that defensive anchor. But
don't need him to be.
Yeah, they're definitely going to need it. Yeah. And if he goes down, I think they're really going to struggle. I think they're really going to struggle this year. Adelaide.
I think they're going to be. I mean, they don't even have anything really. Except that guy that signed today, Flowers, they don't really have anything even worth interesting to me to watch.
No.
Like Brisbane would say to another team that might struggle, but at least they've got guys that are interesting.
Yeah. So where do we project them finishing?
I'll be bottom 3 again.
Bottom 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I'll lock them in bottom.
Yeah, okay.
I think they'll finish 10th.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big call, but I mean...
I don't see them being better than anyone.
I think, I'll go bottom 3. I'll play it safe. I think that they definitely miss playoffs. They just don't have enough.
Nah. They finished above Brisbane and Illawarra last year. I think Illawarra are they'll be
They're
much improved.
Yep.
And I think Brisbane have
definitely got better
than Adelaide.
Yep.
Off-season grade. What do you reckon? C or pass? Do you reckon they pass?
C-.
C-.
Just missing the pass mark, I think. They haven't improved that.
I think
they've gotten worse, man.
I'll give them a D.
Yeah, okay. Fair call too.
I don't think they're any good.
Yeah. The only thing I'm excited for is that kid that they signed today.
Yeah, same. That's good timing for us. Actually gave us something to talk about.
Yeah, positive.
But probably not the most famous flower male that we've come to know. Do you remember the Zimbabwean brothers?
Andy Flower.
I forget his brother's name, but geez, I remember watching them in the World Cup in South Africa. Yeah, they were pretty good.
Definitely good bat.
One more thing. I went to an Adelaide game last year against Melbourne.
Yep.
One of the worst atmospheres in sport I've been to.
I mean, this roster's not going to help that either.
Nah, geez, they were bad.
Yeah.
It was at that point of the season where they needed...
They
had to win.
Yep.
And, like, I was helped along by the fact I had a multi on and the keg ran out at the bar and they were trying to pour new beers and they gave me 6 beers for nothing.
Oh, why?
So I was like, I don't want cold beer. So I had 6 beers about halfway through the first quarter. But I was up and about.
Yep. No one else was.
No one came with me.
It is the city of churches, mate.
Yeah, well.
They're a little bit more laid back over there.
Yeah, very laid back.
Yep.
Rightio, I think that's us done for Adelaide. Yep. And
Shithouse. Hughes called them shithouse.
Yeah. Worst team. Maybe, one last thing, maybe Jamal Franklin will make them look like a Filipino team.
We'll
see you for Brisbane next episode, guys.